Hi guys, Alberto here. You're watching the Bedroom Rocker YouTube channel, and today we are checking out the NUX MG-400, which claims to be the best value modeler in the market. As usual, I'm gonna start by playing the pedal over a backing track, then we're gonna cover the main specs and features, I'm gonna show you a couple more sound samples in isolation, and finally we move on to the review part. So grab a drink, sit tight, and let's go. First of all, the disclaimer, I did not get paid to record this video, but NUX did send me the unit for free so that I could try it out and record this for you, so keep this in mind while you're watching it and enjoy it. The NUX MG-400 is quite a good upgrade over the very popular MG-300 unit. With the new MG-400, you get two newer DSP units, more processing power, so this means better latency values and the ability to handle 10 instead of 8 simultaneous effect blocks. You also get a new bass amp model with 8 different bass cabinets, 5 additional effects, a brighter and bigger LCD screen, 2 additional foot switches, and way better connectivity. So overall, it's a great upgrade in terms of hardware. The modeling technology or algorithms are the same as in the MG-300 and based on white box modeling. This means NUX is looking into detail into those amps, into their electronic schematics, and modeling each individual component, so every valve or resistor capacitor gets modeled individually. They put this together into a circuit to get an accurate representation on how the amp or the distortion or the effect pedal will change the guitar signal. They offer 25 different guitar amp models and 25 different cabinets that can be mixed and matched. For the guitar cabs, they are using impulse response technologies. You get 4 different microphones and 3 different miking positions to choose from, and you can also load your own third-party IRs into the unit. For the bass, you get 1 bass amp with 8 different bass cabinets, and you also get an acoustic guitar amp with 3 different impulse responses of acoustic guitars, which is a great way to fatten up and give a rounder, more 3D sound to your acoustic guitar's undersaddle pickup. The connectivity is also quite good, so you get the guitar input, then you have the auxiliary in case you want to play backing tracks from your smartphone. You have the stereo out, which unfortunately is unbalanced. Then we have the headphones out, a USB-C connection, and then the power supply. There are many different ways to use the MG-400. The most basic one is probably to pair it with a regular guitar amp and just use it as a regular multi-effect units for the distortions, overdrives, modulation, delay, reverbs, and so on. But of course, an important part of the MG-400 is the amp and cabinet modeling. So the MG-400 can of course replace your entire signal chain, and then you can send the signal into a powered PA speaker for rehearsal, or into the front of house if you want to perform live with your band. Then ultimately this unit also has a USB-C, and it can be used as a very powerful audio interface. So this is excellent as a mobile guitar recording studio, and in fact all of the tracks of this video have been recorded by plugging the MG-400 directly into my laptop via the USB-C connection. To build your signal chain, you have 10 independent effect blocks to choose from. These are noise gate, compressor, EFX, which are drives or gain stages, amp, IR, EQ, then modulation, delay, reverb, and PL, which is just to adjust the final compression and overall volume of the patch. So you get to pick a model for each one of these 10 independent blocks and tweak it as you wish. With the new firmware update, you can also replace your compressor by another drive. You can also replace a drive by a modulation, and also a modulation by another drive, and also a reverb for another delay. So this adds a bit more flexibility in terms of what you can do in terms of building your signal chain. But of course, you won't build like crazy rigs. You cannot have, for example, parallel effects. You cannot build like a wet-dry double amp setup, for example, but it should cover all the basics for a more down-to-earth setup, so to say. For each patch, you can then create up to 3 different scenes, and the scenes are variations of which effect blocks are active or inactive. So you can, for example, use scene 1 as your basic sound, just with your amplifier, speaker cabinet, and a reverb. Then have scene number 2 as your solo sound, so adding an overdrive and a delay, for example. And scene number 3 as your alternative sound, so removing the delay, adding an EQ and a modulation like a chorus or a tremolo, for example. Besides that, for each patch, you can decide on the function of the foot switches. So you can, for example, use the foot switch to toggle between the 3 different scenes, but you can also assign a foot switch to activate or deactivate a specific pedal. Besides that, you can also decide on the function of the expression pedal, which is always set to a volume pedal, but once you push it all the way down, it also has a foot switch, then activates a secondary function, and this could be, for example, a wah, or you could, for example, control the amount of gain in your amp or a certain parameter of a certain effect. So this is quite cool. It's quite a lot of flexibility for each one of the patches. It is relatively easy to set up a patch on the unit itself. You get a nice big screen. The graphics are very self-explanatory, and there's plenty of knobs available for you to tweak the presets. However, the easiest way to do that is, of course, to hook it up with your computer and use the QuickTone Editor software. Because then of course you get a bigger computer screen, and it's very cool because the knobs on the NUX MG-400 still work, so you can tweak the knobs on the unit itself, but see the nice graphical representation of the software in your computer's bigger screen. At last but not the least, the MG-400 has also got an inbuilt looper function with drum machine. So you got a couple of different drum styles to choose from. You can record up to 30 seconds of stereo loop or 60 seconds of mono loop. And you also get an automatic recording function that triggers the recording once you start playing and not when you press the foot switch. Let's hear some more sound samples now. I'm plugging the guitars, the acoustic guitar and the bass guitar straight into the NUX MG-400 and then hooking up to my computer via USB-C for recording. So let me know what you think about the sounds and features of the NUX MG-400. Make sure to write in the comment section down below. Overall, I'm really blown away by the unit. Those who follow the channel know I'm not much of a modular player, so to be very honest with you, I don't have a lot of comparison bases here, but overall I was quite impressed with the sounds that I was able to get out of the MG-400. Then it's also packed with features and is of course super affordable, coming at about 211 euros here in Germany, and is also super compact and lightweight. So if you are a beginner guitar player, I think you really cannot go wrong with this unit. It's going to enable you to explore so many different amp and effect models. It's going to enable you to practice guitar, so using the looper and the drum machine function. It's going to enable you to rehearse and play live with your band without the need to own expensive and heavy guitar amplifier. And at last but not the least, it's going to allow you to record a guitar at home, which is very important to grow as a guitar player and as a musician in general. So I think even as a more experienced musician, this is still a great tool to have in your arsenal. I mean, it could substitute your entire rig, so it could be a nice backup for those gigs where you don't want to bring your full pedal board and amplifier setup, or where you cannot have an amp on stage, for example. And I think also great as a portable recording studio. At this price point, it's of course quite hard to complain about things, but here are two things that I found. The first one is that the output connections are unbalanced. This can be quite problematic if you're gonna perform live and you're gonna plug the unit into front of house, for example, a mixing desk or a PA system, but you need to run a 20-30 meter cable between them. This is gonna pick up quite a lot of interference and degrade the signal. So the best way to go around this is to add a DI box to balance your signal before sending it out. The second thing is that a few bass players got a bit neglected here. For guitar, you get 25 really nice guitar amp models, several classics from big name brands. For acoustic guitar, you get 3 acoustic guitar IRs, and it's also quite easy to add more IRs to the unit by yourself if you want to do so. But if you're a bass player, you are pretty much left with the only amp that's available there, and that's based on a preamp by NUX themselves. So I would really like to see some classic famous bass amp models added to future firmware updates of the MG-400. Another point that you see people complaining a lot on the internet is that the unit is made out of plastic. So if you are a professional musician gigging on a weekly basis, that's probably not the best idea. But the unit does feel sturdy enough for most regular users, and this also means that it is super lightweight. So that's it for today. I really hope the video was helpful and fun to watch. If that's the case, make sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you like this kind of guitar and gear related content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to stay tuned. Also, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to support the Bedroom Rocker YouTube channel, make sure to check out my affiliate links in the description box down below. If you click on them and buy anything, I earn a small commission, and this really helps me to get the channel going and get more products for making reviews like this one at no additional cost for you. So keep on rocking and cheers.